Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 12th, 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about the statements made today by Florentino Perez in the last-minute press conference that he made because Real Madrid, ladies and gentlemen, are absolutely imploding. And we're also going to talk about Barcelona's response to those statements. And finally, Julian Alvarez. Well, he could be going somewhere else that's not Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. We'll begin this video with the scenes of the Titanic sinking because, ladies and gentlemen, Real Madrid are imploding. And in fact, today, Florentino Perez had a meeting with his board of directors. And shortly after, he held a press conference where a lot of people expected something different. But instead, we saw a Florentino Perez that is clearly losing it up here. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But why was this press conference held? Well, Real Madrid are in total chaos right now. They have ended their second season trophyless. Their locker room is completely fractured. They've gone through 3 coaches in less than 12 months. They have their players fighting each other. We know Chouameni whooped Valverde's ass, sent him to the hospital. We know Rudiger slapped Carreras in the face. And of course, everybody was expected that Florentino Perez would come out and address all these situations, not to mention, of course, the hot mess that is their stadium, their finances, 1.4 billion euros in debt. And when everyone thought that Florentino would come up and, own up to all these mistakes and come up with a solution, instead, this is what he had to say. The Real Madrid members are with me in my fight against Negreira. Yes, here we go. I knew this was coming up at any moment. But anyways, let's continue. And the others. It's not always Real Madrid that suffers. Other teams do too. Barca always benefits. Let's see if UEFA gets involved in this matter, because they will. It's unacceptable that I'm under suspicion of corruption for over 20 years. Let's see what happens with UEFA's legal sporting investigations. I didn't come here so that the referees could get rich of Barcelona's money. We've been left empty-handed, and I've been here, I don't know how many seasons, and I've only won 7 European Cups and 7 league titles, which could have been 14 because they've been stolen from me. We've made a video about the 18 points they've taken from us this season. I can't stay silent about that. 3 years ago, we learned about the Negreira Case, the biggest scandal in history. They've been paying for 2 decades, but now it's the same referees for this 3rd decade. We will present a substantial dossier to UEFA so they can tackle this issue at its root and resolve the case for the good of world football. Of course, there's also our perennial enemy, La Liga. We're going to fight. I'm fighting against everyone. The systemic corruption of the Negreira Case. How can we just forget it? We're preparing a 500-page dossier that I'll send to UEFA when the competition is over. I've already spoken with them. There's no precedent for this in the history of world football. It's the biggest corruption case ever. Wow. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 seasons trophyless. A fractured locker room. 3 coaches in less than 12 months. A stadium that cost the double. Supposed to cost 700 million and ended up costing almost 1.5. A stadium that took twice as long as it was supposed to take, only to be wrapped in metal. Nothing else changed. A pitch that was supposed to be, the latest technology, a retractable pitch that was supposed to be the latest technology. Turns out, not only does the grass turn into mud because it's stored underground and doesn't get dry with the sun, but they've also had to paint it. They're actually painting their grass green so it looks better. A stadium that was supposed to generate millions in concerts, but that has been shut down by the government because apparently it's not soundproof like they promised it would be. An underground parking lot that was supposed to generate millions of euros, also shut down by the government, and it's not going to be completed. And a 1.4 billion euro debt. Madrid is a hot mess on the pitch and off the pitch, And what is the solution to all of this? A 500-page dossier to UEFA about the Negreira case. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the epitome of unhinged behavior. Because we all know this. There's nothing to the Negreira case. It's been 3 years that they've been investigating the Negreira case. The tax authority has investigated. The prosecutor's office has investigated it. La Liga, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, UEFA, FIFA, everybody has investigated this case and they have found zero evidence of Barcelona bribing referees or influencing the competition by paying one of the consulting companies that Negreira owned. And yet, Florentino Perez wants to continue lying to your face, wants to continue using this excuse to distract you away from the hot mess that is Real Madrid. And it's not even that good of an excuse, because even if we assume that, yes, it's real, Barcelona bribed referees, the last year that Barcelona paid Negreira's company was in 2018. 8 years ago. How do you explain the total failure that Madrid are currently are? You can't. So not only is an empty excuse, it's not even a good one because it doesn't even apply to the current state of Real Madrid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a guy who is losing grip of power, who is losing a grip on reality, and all he can do is sit there like some drunk uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner who's just saying crazy things and everybody's looking at him like, okay, uncle, time to take your medication and go to sleep. And by the way, this wasn't all. I watched that press conference. It was an absolute mess. This guy is losing it. And to think that he used to rule Real Madrid with an iron fist, I used to say, wow, I wish we had a president like that. Well, I no longer wish that. I mean, he was sitting there telling to one reporter, hey, you good looking one. Hey, answer the question. Oh, talking about some article. Oh, it was written by some woman who probably doesn't know anything about football. I mean, this guy is unhinged, ladies and gentlemen. He is unhinged. Talking about he's not going to leave and they're going to have to like take him out of there. Crazy, crazy. But here's the crazier part. Because there's people actually applauding his speech. Madridistas saying, yay, look at our president. The president who's literally ruining your club, who's running your club to the ground. And you guys are applauding him because, like the idiots that you are, he's distracted you with some bogus claim that somehow Barcelona bribed referees more than 8 years ago, which doesn't even apply to the current state of Real Madrid. I mean, this is like your neighbor setting your house on fire and then him telling you, oh, it's the fire department. And because the fire department, it's fault, I'm going to protest and I'm going to go and sign a petition against them. And you're like, wow, neighbor, woohoo, look at my neighbor. He's amazing. Look at what he's doing for me, when he's the one who set fire to your house to begin with. This is what's going on in Real Madrid. But Barcelona did have a response to this, well, to this senile old man who is clearly losing it, because this is the announcement that Barcelona made. Regarding the press conference called by Real Madrid President Florentino Perez, we inform you that our legal department is carefully reviewing his statements and accusations. These are currently being analyzed and the next steps are being assessed. We will provide further information on our position and any decision made when appropriate. So Barcelona's legal department currently analyzing what Florentino said to see if Barcelona will file a lawsuit against him, which I really hope they do, because it's time to say enough. It's time to put the old man in bed, give him his meds, and tell him, have a good night, sir. Anyways, let's end today's video with the news that it looks like PSG are considering the signing of Julian Alvarez. And not only are they considering paying the 150 million euros that Atletico Madrid would want if they decide to sell Julian, but they're saying that if Atletico would have to sell Julian, they would much prefer to sell it to anyone except Barca, because, of course, they consider Barcelona as a direct competitor. I don't, because at Atletico, are we really direct competitors? Anyways, we're in the same league, so this is why Atletico would rather sell him to someone else like PSG, which, of course, this could mean a bump in the road to acquire Julian Alvarez. Even though I don't think there's a road to begin with, I still think this signing is nearly impossible. So whether PSG or anyone else decides they want to sign him, I don't think it matters that much. But anyways, I wanted to bring you that news. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen. I did upload another video before this, so make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarsa.